An invite to the World Series is on the lawn as October's magical moments continue to unfold on Fox.
My words did glow with the gold of sunshine, and my tunes were played on the harp unstrung. Would you hear my voice come through the music? Would you hold it near as it were your own? It's a hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken.
Welcome to Game 5 of the 2002 National League Championship Series. The San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver in just a moment. Well, here are the San Francisco Giants, a win away from getting to the World Series for the first time since 1989. Meanwhile, the Cardinals try to become only the second club in NLCS history since they've gone to a best-of-7 format to come back from a 3-games-to-1 deficit and win the series. But gosh, that's way in the future. Let's talk about the here and now. And Tim McCarver, let's talk specifically about last night and about a couple of base running mistakes that may have cost the Cardinals Game 4.
More games are won or lost on the bases than any other facet of baseball, and last night an example of that. Top of the third inning, hit and run with nobody out. Jim Edmonds on at first base. Albert Pujols a single to right field. Edmonds has got to be on third base, and he would have scored on the double play by J.D. Drew. Top of the ninth inning, Fernando Vina representing the tying run. A delay, a hesitation at going into third base. He never scored, and that caused that confrontation in the dugout.
Yeah, a confrontation. The two had words immediately after the game. Tony La Russa telling us beforehand, before tonight's game, that look, Jim Edmonds can't say a whole lot if he didn't go first to third on that hit and run.
Right.
So that was the discussion that took place last night and took place before today's game between La Russa and Jim Edmonds. Two big hits last night for the Giants, one by J.T. Snow, and the biggest, the two-run shot in the eighth by Benito Santiago. That means the Giants are a win away from the Fall Classic. For the Cardinals, they need to win right now to get this series back to St. Louis. Another gorgeous night in San Francisco, and Kirk, who was the starter in Game 1 of this NLCS, starter and winner, and he has dominated the Cardinals in his career, is on the mound for the Giants as they try to win to get to Anaheim. The lineup for St. Louis: Fernando Vina, then Miguel Cairo batting second and third, Jim Edmonds hitting third, Albert Pujols cleaning up. Backing him up is Eduardo Perez. Edgar Renteria batting in the sixth spot, then Eli Marrero, Mike Matheny, and Matt Morris pitching and batting ninth.
Kirk Reuter 1-1 this postseason. He was the winner in Game 1, even though the Cardinals hit him around pretty well. He is not a hard thrower. First pitch strike, forget about it. Only teammate Russ Ortiz threw fewer first pitch strikes this year than Reuter. He resides on the corner. He's not a hard thrower, rarely reaches 87 miles per hour on his fastball, and relies on deception.
The broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. Fernando Vina first up. Last night a 3-for-5 evening, and Dusty Baker was really complimentary of Fernando Vina as we met with him prior to tonight's game. He likes the way he plays the game. Here we go, Game 5, pitch 1, and a little clunker. Stays fair, 1 out. A quiet out to start the night for St. Louis as Vina grounds out to J.T. Snow.
What a difference a night makes. Fernando Vina led off the Cardinal first on the first pitch with a double yesterday, and the Cardinals scored 2 runs in the top of the first.
Here's Miguel Cairo. 62 degrees as we start this game in San Francisco. The temperature the lowest it's been for these 3 games during the NLCS. Scott Rowland still on the bench and unavailable except for pinch running duties. That's really the only possibility he has to get in this game. Cairo takes a ball. Miguel Cairo made the start in game 1 and hit a home run against Kirk Reuter. That was the last batter that Reuter faced that night. That's low in the count, 2-0. Reuter a loser in game 2 of the division series at Atlanta 7-3, and then a winner in game 1 9-6. But he lasted only 5+ innings and allowed 5 runs on 9 hits. 2 balls and a strike. Saw the big ERA for Reuter in this postseason. Opponents are hitting .444 against him. Time called at the plate. The Cardinals tonight are going to try and disrupt the rhythm of Kirk Reuter. So just as Reuter was about to bring it home, Cairo stepped out and now hits one back at Reuter, caught for the second out.
Even though he caught the ball in the air, he turns as though to throw to first base. All a matter of habit. Watch him almost trying to complete the play after catching it in the air. You don't need to throw to first, Kirk.
And so now with 2 out, nobody on, here's Jim Edmonds. We made mention of it in that game 1, that one thing the Giants told Kirk Reuter when they got him from Montreal back in '96 is get it and throw it. Don't mess around between pitches. Don't let your defense fall asleep. Get into a rhythm, stick to it, and get the ball back to the plate. And that's something the Cardinals are aware of, and something they're going to try and disrupt during the course of tonight's game. That's too wide, and the count 1-1.
Matt Morris, Kirk's opponent tonight, works just as quickly.
Edmonds 6 hits in this NLCS, falls in the hole 1-2. There's Matt Morris getting ready for the bottom of the first inning as Reuter tries to take care of the top half. Two and 2. 10-3 lifetime for Reuter against the Cardinals. 2-0 this year, including the game 1 start. He's 6-0 in games he's pitched back at Busch Stadium. Full count with Pujols on deck.
Edmonds, the type of hitter who will go to left field with power. We've seen it once in this series, a home run to left field. With 2 strikes, he's more inclined to hit to left field, particularly against a left-handed pitcher.
Edmonds just got a piece of it. Tino Martinez is on the bench to start tonight's game. Martinez did have a hit, a walk, an RBI, and a stolen base in game 4 last night. But against the lefty, he sits. Into left field, a base hit. Edmonds is on with 2 out. It's not like the world doesn't believe the scouting report that Tim McCarver throws out about Kirk Reuter, but why not just go to his manager and ask him about tonight's left-hander?
Kirk Reuter, probably the best competitor we have, actually. You know, some kind of way to get you out. He feels his position. He'll bunch you over. He'll just do something to beat you.
I liked yours better.
We don't have a graphic for Dusty's.
Albert Pujols stands in with a runner at first, 2 out. Pujols had a chance in the 9th inning last night with runners at the corners and 1 out, with the Cardinals down by a run, to produce the run, and he struck out against Rob Nett. Then Drew struck out, and the Giants won it 4-3. That's low, and the count 2-0.
Because Kirk Reuter does not throw hard, scouts, when looking at Kirk, passed him up, late round draft choice, saying you don't throw hard enough, your arm's not good enough. But he has found ways to get guys out. with deception. A guy who expands the strike zone early in the count as opposed to late in the count. Like that.
And it's 3-0 with Eduardo Perez hoping to get a chance on deck.
More than any other pitcher on either side, he tries to get you out with balls and not strikes.
Well, let's see what Pujols is doing on 3-0. Taking, and it's 3-1. There's Pujols stepping out, digging his way back in. Reuter behind on the count after surrendering the 2-out hit to Edmonds. Left side, another hit. Back-to-back hits, and it's 2 on with 2 out for Eduardo Perez. Perez during the regular season hit 3 pinch hit home runs. He has 1 this postseason, and it came in game 2, 8th inning against Jason Schmidt. Not only run of the night for the Cardinals, but really Perez was the only guy to make solid contact against Jason Schmidt.
Not a lot of balls hit loudly that night. I'll tell you, the California Angels or the Anaheim Angels are watching this game and hoping the Cardinals win. So Jason Schmidt will have to start against St. Louis on Wednesday. And therefore they won't face him when the World Series starts next Saturday.
It's Reuter tonight in a first inning jam with 2 on, 2 out. And there's Perez stepping out. So there's no doubt that as Reuter is getting ready to pitch, and this time he was about to come set, Eduardo Perez requested, was granted time from Tim Welke, the home plate umpire. In at the knees, strike 1. Perez hit only .201 during the regular season, getting a start in game 5 and hitting one into left field. There is Bonds. Inning over. Back-to-back hits with 2 out. Edmonds and Pujols, and they're stranded. Giants come to bat. Bottom of the first, game 5 against Matt Morris. No score. He was nervous after getting bounced in the 5th inning of game 1. How will he be tonight with his team facing elimination? He faces this lineup: Lofton, Aurelia, Kent in the middle, Bonds, Santiago, and Goodwin. And at the end, Snow, Bell, and the pitcher, Kirk Reuter.
So Matt Morris will try to corral his emotions and corral his pitches. Emotional year, emotional game. The same thing applies here in game 5.
Ball 1 inside to Kenny Lofton.
And that second point of the scouting report, okay to be wild in the strike zone. That's because Matt Morris's stuff is so good. He can afford to use the middle of the plate. Kirk Reuter can, but Matt can. That's that point right there.
Here's a 1-1 to Lofton, who had his way with Morris in game 1. If you believe the radar readings, and I'm assuming we brought the same radar gun out here to San Francisco we had in St. Louis. First few pitches in game 1 were 96 miles per hour. These have been 92, 93, and now Kenny Lofton gets out. You could imagine the Giants doing the same thing to Morris. The Cardinals will try to do to Reuter, and that is get him out of a rhythm. Still 1-2 on Lofton.
We talked about it at the top of the first inning. Matt Morris actually works quicker than Reuter.
Kenny Lofton holds up 2-2. Aurelia and Jeff Kent will follow here in the first inning for San Francisco, and wouldn't they love to grab the lead? Lofton didn't go. Full count.
That's that snapping curveball down in the dirt. And the Cardinals do not get the call from Jeff Nelson, the third base umpire. Did he go? Close.
Lofton rips one into right. Back is Eduardo Perez, and Tim, that is the exact alley you pointed out before Game 3 here in San Francisco, where the ball is knocked down here at Pac-Bell Park.
Pac-Bell Park is in a basin. This is a China Basin area. Little swale, and that's why the ball's carried to left. And when they go to right field, it knocks it down. That wind right here knocks balls down into that area. Often hit that one well, but corralled by Perez.
Sean Dunston was telling us prior to Game 3, he said, I told Kenny. Kenny didn't believe me. I said, you break it down into your home run trot. When you think you hit a good ball into right center field, you're going to be embarrassed. He said, sure enough, second or third game here, hit one into right center field. The center fielder and right fielder were arguing over who was going to catch it. Kenny was styling it around first base. Here's Aurelia. Breaking ball. There's that over the top tight breaking ball, and the count 0-2 on the Giant shortstop.
Good breaking ball from Morris. 114 home runs hit in this ballpark this year, the fewest of any major league ballpark.
With 2 strikes, Aurelia is down swinging. 2 up, 2 down. Let's hear from Matt Morris about that start. A surprisingly poor start in Game 1.
That last game I was prepared, but I never got to that point of actually putting my game plan to work. It was all a blur to me, and I remember some of the better games that I pitched seemed to slow down, and that one just, buzzed by me.
In the first inning of Game 1, a leadoff walk started it, then a bunt by Aurelia, a 2-out walk to Bonds, a hit by Santiago, another walk. Sanders grounded out to end the threat.
Matt Morris's earned run average in the first inning this year over 5, and all the other innings right around 2.5.
There's a wild 96-mile-an-hour fastball for ball 1 to Kent, who, believe it or not, the Giants are 1 win away from going to the World Series, and Kent has 1 RBI the entire postseason. That's hard to believe.
And no extra base hits in the league championship series. He did have 2 doubles against the Atlanta Braves.
Up and out of the strike zone again, and again mid-90s from Matt Morris, 95. And now a pop-up on the infield. Pujols, Vigna. Vigna, inning over. Wasn't easy, but Vigna stayed with it. The Giants go in order in the first. Renteria, Marrero, Matheny coming up against Kirk Reuter. Second inning, Game 5, no score. First up for St. Louis in the second is the number 6 hitter Edgar Renteria, with Marrero and Matheny to follow. No score. Cardinals got 2 hits in the first. Edmonds and Pujols, but Perez flied out to left. Renteria, 1 hit. Uno. Solamente uno. 1 ball, 1 strike. Renteria hit .305 and knocked home 83 runs, which tied a Cardinal franchise record for RBIs by a shortstop. But nothing in this postseason. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Renteria trying to bunt a couple of times in last night's ball game, but the Cardinals, if they are to win, Renteria has to get going.
That's low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They introduced Jeffrey Leonard to the crowd. Stood up, gave a wave. The Hackman, 1 flap down. Jeffrey Leonard was the NLCS MVP on a losing team. That's how well he hit. .417 with 4 home runs against Cardinal pitching. Three balls, 2 strikes on Renteria leading off. And to the left side, threw it for the 3rd Cardinal hit of the night. Let's take you back. 1987. You remember those days, Tim?
I do.
Why'd they call him the Hackman? Even though it was attributed to Jeffrey Leonard, it was Chili Davis who called St. Louis a cow town. But there's the 1 flap down. There's Greg Matthews with his head down after allowing the home run. And again, the only player from a losing team to win the MVP in the NLCS. Here's Eli Marrero. with Renteria at first and nobody out. Pitch out. Nothing shaken.
Expecting the Cardinals to run. Sometimes you talk a team into using the hit and run by pitching out early in the count. Now a favorable count for Renteria to be in motion.
Two balls, no strikes, and the Cardinals have been rather patient with Kirk Reuter in the first inning plus.
Talked about early in the count trying to get the Cardinals to swing at pitches. 2 3-2 counts thus far and 3 singles.
Now the runner goes and Marrero fouls it out of play off to the right.
That's why the 2-0 or 3-1 counts are not good hit and run counts in my view. You take an offensive situation and you turn it to a defensive situation. Tony La Russa sending the runner 2-0. And that pitch was about 4 inches outside. And Marrero had to protect the runner. So instead of 3-0, it's 2-1.
You can hear Dave McKay say, "Get back here." So Dusty Baker used to do for the Giants. Talked to him about that before the game. He said, "I was just the get back coach. Get back. Get back.
Watch the line drive.
Don't get doubled off. Get back." Runner goes.
1-1-1.
The only play to first. I don't think Marrero ever saw a strike. Down to second is Renteria, 1 out.
You're right. 4 straight balls, and here Marrero goes back to the Cardinal dugout. Not the 2-1 pitch. 2-1 pitch is an ideal count on which to hit and run. But 2-0, 3-1. Again, you change that offensive situation for the hitter into a protect the runner situation. You could do it 2-1, but not 2-0.
So now Mike Matheny with an RBI opportunity. Matheny continues his streak of getting a base hit, at least 1 base hit, in every post-game action the Cardinals have played this year, as that's a strike over the outside part of the plate. Matheny, then the pitcher Morris. Kirk Reuter trying to pitch around a leadoff hit by Renteria. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sometimes if you're on second base with 1 out, what part of the order is coming up dictates whether you take a chance on stealing third. With 1 out, the 8th place hitter up, it's a good time to do it, to score on something other than a hit if you make it.
2 balls and a strike.
Otherwise, you're relying on your 8th place hitter and your 9th place hitter driving the run home.
St. Louis 2 out of 17 in game 4 last night with runners in scoring position. Already 0 for 1 tonight as Matheny fouls that out of play, and the count evens 2-2. Not only 2 out of 17 last night, but Tim in the series 3 out of 32.
3 out of 32. Even more of a reason why you take a chance stealing a base instead of relying on something in which you've been deficient throughout the whole series.
Here's a 2-2. And a defensive swing by Matheny. No thundersticks tonight.
No.
They gave out white towels. So it's going to be a little quieter unless you were at the game last night and you brought yours back for game 5.
Not many.
Mike Matheny trying to put St. Louis on top here in the second. That's foul again. Remember 2 years ago, the Cardinals were playing down the stretch. And leading into the postseason, Mike Matheny had that accident at home, getting a hunting knife for his birthday, putting it back into its sheath, and it cut right through it and right into his thumb. They thought it might be career threatening, but he was able to work his way back shortly thereafter. Missed the postseason. That was the year the Cardinals ended up in the NLCS, losing to the Mets, who lost in the Subway Series to the Yankees. Time called by Matheny as he gets out.
With the types of swings that Matheny has been taking, Tom Goodwin, the right fielder, playing properly, very shallow and over toward the right field line.
The 2-2 pitch, another one off to the right side, and another foul ball. Cardinals look at their recent postseason history. Look at some key injuries that kept important players out of the lineup during the month of October. It's no different this year with Scott Rowland being unavailable after that accident in Game 2 of the division series at Arizona. Matheny grounds to Kent. Over to third is Reuter, 2 out. A lot's been made of the relationship between Matt Morris and Darryl Kile. Matt Morris at the All-Star game in Milwaukee sat out the game to clear his head, but gave that tribute to his dear friend Darryl Kile, who had passed away a week and a half before. Morris now with an RBI chance. Runner at third, 2 out. And that's into right field for Goodwin. The Cardinals have left 3. Barry Bonds will lead off for the Giants as we move to the bottom of the second. Bonds, Santiago, and Goodwin. Still no score in Game 5. San Francisco night. Little fog, and it's chilly. Chilly, chilly. Here's Barry Bonds leading it off. Bottom of the second, no score. Strike 1 on the outside corner. Bonds, who drew 2 walks and hit a 2-out, 2-run triple in Game 1 against Matt Morris. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's 3 out of 14 against Morris as Bonds, and that's on the outside corner, strike 2.
2 sizzling fastballs to get ahead of Barry Bonds.
Into left field, slicing to Marrero. 1 out. Benito Santiago has this to say about the pressure hitting behind Barry Bonds.
I've been hitting like from months and a half or 2 months behind this man, and it's not easy. It's not easy to go up there and see that they're walking this guy all the time to try to give me. It's a lot of pressure out there, a lot of thinking. Oh, I should be hitting home run, or I should get a base hit to win the game. And I totally forgot about those home run situations, and I just try to put the ball on play and bring those guys in.
Breaking ball is high to Santiago, who just got a tremendous reception from the fans here in San Francisco, as he should.
Benito did not think about or forget about the long ball last night. He got a hit and a home run to win it for the Giants.
That's high and tight. The count 2-0. We said going off the air last night that it was a young Dusty Baker who was asked to hit behind Hank Aaron early in his career, late in Hank's career. But obviously there is focus on the guy coming up behind the Hall of Famer. Santiago's been in that position. Good play by Cairo to avoid the bat, as that no doubt bothered him, picking up the ground ball and over to first, 2 out.
You have 2 things coming at you. Make sure you pick up the right thing, and that's the ball. Barrel of the bat. Whoa. Good play by Cairo. High throw, an understandable high throw. You have that javelin coming at you like that. Boy, that is a saw-off job right there. It's what Rick White was trying to do to Santiago last night.
Just going to bring that up about that situation last night. Really a couple of situations in the game that Tony La Russa had to make some tough decisions. One that we disagreed with in the 6th inning when bringing in Rick White. He struck out Santiago, not going with the left-hander, and JT Snow hit a 2-out 2-run double to left center field to tie it. Then the next time up, the intentional pass to Barry Bonds, which was a surprise to nobody, but a 3-2 pitch that was too good for Benito Santiago. Santiago took full advantage of the mistake by Rick White and hit it out of the park into left field. White was told before that at bat, if you walk him, we don't care. Strike 3 on a breaking ball, and Matt Morris has been dealing through the first 2 innings. We go to the 3rd, top of the order for St. Louis. Facing elimination tonight, facing Kirk Reuter. No score. Fernando Vina hit a squibber down the first baseline for the first out. Then Cairo lined out back in the first. Back-to-back hits by Edmonds and Pujols. Cardinals have 3 hits, the Giants none. No score. 3rd inning of game 5, and Vina takes a strike. You used to like in your career when announcers would describe one of your efforts as a squibber. Now Vina steps out.
It's being factual.
It's the definition of a squibber.
You don't want an announcer to say that.
Don't do it.
Don't do that.
The 0-1 to the right side. Harder hit. One hop to JT Snow. Last night's starter Andy Bennis is wearing a microphone for us, talking to Chuck Finley over on the bench, describing as only he can the strikeout of Tom Goodwin last half inning.
Heater fouled over the dugout. Uncle Charlie, 95 in your knuckles, then a hook.
By the way, Uncle Charlie and the hook are the same pitch. That was a nasty sequence that Morris got Goodwin out.
Cairo takes a strike.
95-mile-an-hour heater on your knuckles.
Cairo lined back to Reuter his first time up. Joe's bunt, takes a ball. It's 1-1. So nobody could get Cairo out in the division series. And then the first 2 games of this LCS. Retired in his final at bat of game 2, and then he went to the bench. Back to the Andy Bennis described Tom Goodwin sequence.
Fastball over the dugout. Uncle Charlie, 95 on the knuckles and the curve. Tell you, that sequence will get a lot of major league hitters out. Tom doesn't have to be upset about that at bat.
Cairo set up at a ball and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the 3rd inning. To the right side and through. Another hit for St. Louis. They have 4 singles. And now Edmonds and Pujols coming up, trying to give the Cardinals a 3rd inning lead.
Good hitting by Cairo. He had 3 straight hits against Reuter. His first 3 times up in game 1. That ball off the plate away. Fired into right field.
Edmonds lined a base hit into left field his first time. We showed, if you caught the beginning portion of our telecast, the rather heated conversation that Jim Edmonds had with Fernando Vina at the end of the game last night. It was Edmonds who got the base hit with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out to score Kerry Robinson, but Vina held as he got to 3rd base. And then the 2 had that discussion after the game, talking to Vina and Edmonds. There's no bad blood or nothing boiling under the surface between those 2, or on the surface for that matter. But it was interesting to watch as you go back to last night. And there's the discussion after the play. Tony La Russa's response to us in the clubhouse before the game was Edmonds should have gone first to third on an early hit and run with Albert Pujols at the plate.
We talked about that in the game last night. Absolutely.
Nice save by Santiago. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Edmonds also didn't score from first on a ball down the left field line in game 3 here 2 days ago. And you, I believe, can understand why Vigna held going to third.
With Kerry Robinson, the lead runner at third base, Vigna had looked at the outfielder, knew where the outfielder was, knew it was a hit, and took off for third base. After about 4 steps, he stopped all of a sudden because he saw Kerry Robinson there.
Edmonds hits it foul down the right field line.
Well, that's not an excuse of Vigna or in Vigna's defense. That was in the 2nd inning right here. Edmonds didn't go to third. And then in the 9th inning, that base hit, you could see Vigna breaking for third, but Robinson was there. Robinson was doing his job because he represented only the 3rd run, with the Cardinals trailing by 2 at the time, and Vigna representing the tying run.
A 1-2 to Edmonds. Another base hit. Cairo will turn and test Goodwin. The throw over. Too late. 1st and 3rd, 1 out as Cairo was aggressive on the bases on Edmonds' 2nd hit of the night.
Again, the number of outs dictate whether you take the chance. Tom Goodwin does not have a strong throwing arm. Ground ball in front of Cairo, not behind him, nor does he have to dance. He had a good break off of first base. No picking up the third base coach necessary. You make your own judgment, and he makes it rather easy.
Now that sets up Albert Pujols, who singled his first time. Pujols only 2 RBIs in this series, takes a strike. And just to put a cap on what we were talking about with Vigna, when he looked back up and saw the body of Kerry Robinson there inching away from third base, that's what made him hesitate. And he couldn't come to the plate as that straightens up Pujols. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One thing Tony La Russa was talking about, it was a huge play in the game had Vigna kept coming. Goodwin doesn't throw him out. May have been close at home. I think Vigna makes it.
1st and 3rd, 1 out. Pujols slashes 1 foul.
But the point is that you have to rely on your own instincts instead of the instincts of others. But for some reason, when he took those 2 or 3 steps, the very fact that Robinson was on third tagging up made him stop momentarily, and the Cardinals lost the ball game.
Trying to take a rare lead in this series, Albert Pujols. Got him on the inside corner, 2 gone. What a time for Reuter's first strikeout of the night.
And what a time for Reuter's first fastball inside the right-handed batter. Away, 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 and then this. Freezes Pujols. A lot of the plate. You can see Pujols with those arms up. We talked about Reuter rarely hitting 87 miles an hour. That fastball, 87 miles an hour.
Eduardo Perez flied out with 2 on, 2 out back in the 1st and has runners at the corners, 2 out here in the 3rd. Ball 1.
After going away, Pujols took a pitch away, then he fouled the pitch away, and Reuter comes back inside to the dismay of Tony La Russa.
Reuter steps off. Up to 53 pitches as the Cardinals have made Reuter work here in the first 3 innings. Cardinals have 5 singles, no runs, 2 balls, no strikes.
Joe, you mentioned the Cardinals only 3 for 33. It's worse now with runners in scoring position. All they need is the right type of ball hit with the runner in scoring position. Pujols has stranded 2 runners at third with 1 out in the last 5 innings, last 4 innings, last 3 at bats.
The 2-0 to Perez, 3-0 with Edgar Renteria next. The strikeout last night by Nen in a much different type pitcher. And instead of striking out swinging like Pujols did last night in the ninth, Reuter sneaked one inside and got him looking. The 3-0 to Perez, right down the middle, 3-1.
A long fly ball ties the game last night. A long fly ball would have put the Cardinals ahead today.
Three balls and a strike. To the right side, Kent to his left. Reuter out of trouble again. Kent with a good play to his left. Reuter celebrates as he heads off the field. The Cardinals have stranded 5. Bottom of the 3rd inning, still no score. JT Snow has had a terrific series for the Giants as he takes inside ball 1. Snow 5 out of 16, 2 RBIs in this series, and the 2 RBIs huge last night with 2 out. The 2-run double in the left center field in the 6th inning. He's up on the count here, 2 balls, no strikes. Snow, then Bell, then Reuter, the bottom 3 against Matt Morris, who has not allowed a base runner, and he struck out 2. Snow pops it up. Playable for Eli Morero. 1 away. Well, it's Monday night. Are you ready for some football? Monday night, JT Snow, 1984 Los Alamitos. He's at quarterback, number 4. And he finds his favorite receiver, Tim, number 13 in the end zone. And a touchdown. The crowd in the bench goes crazy.
Like a sudden death game. You saw after he got hit, boom. Can we say that anymore?
You can say that.
All right.
With 1 out, David Bell takes a ball. We understand that number 13 is now an accountant in Tustin. That's to the right side. That's Fernando Vina. And that's 2 up, 2 down. Matt Morris is doing his part, as he has retired all 8 he has faced, and now will deal with Kirk Reuter.
Los Alamitos, we understand, down near the Long Beach area in Orange County. And number 13 now an Angels fan. Probably calling JT for World Series tickets. JT saying, 1 second. Hold up, baby.
Here's Reuter. 11 out of 62 during the regular season. And that's deflected to Vina. 1-4-3. And Morris is perfect through 3. 4th inning now. St. Louis will have Renteria, Marrero, Matheny. Reuter will go back to the hill. No score in game 5. This view of downtown San Francisco, courtesy of Saturn and the Saturn Lightship. Keep your eye in the sky when the Saturn Lightship is over. A big event you're attending. This is the NLCS. This is game number 5. It'll be inning number 4. And Reuter back to the hill with no score. What did you decide? What is the most memorable moment in Major League Baseball history? Tune in to the pregame show before game 4 of the World Series to see the winner of the MasterCard Presents Major League Baseball's most memorable moment. That's live on Fox, 8 Eastern on Wednesday, October 23rd. If the Giants win tonight, Wednesday or Thursday, that'll take place right here in San Francisco. Game 4 of the World Series. The Cardinals just trying to get a win to get this series back to St. Louis. Renteria singled his first time and takes a ball. 2 out of 16 at the plate in this LCS for Renteria. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Joe, we were kidding about football the last half inning. The Cardinals, if we can use a football analogy, have been very fruitful from the 20 to the 20, but they cannot punch it in the red zone tonight. 5 singles, no runs.
Showing bunt, taking strike 2 is Renteria.
I'm surprised that Reuter got that pitch. Watch Santiago on the low fastball come up, but he stayed down long enough to get the call. The reason he had to come up was the bunt may have been in his neighborhood.
Reuter up on the count, of 1 and 2 strikes, and Renteria hits it back to him. Leadoff man is gone. Waiting in the wings, the Anaheim Angels.
I don't mind the graphic, but the sound
is just piercing. That's awful. First World Series appearance, 6, 2-0 this year. Won the LCS 4-1 over the Minnesota Twins. There's a strike on the outside corner.
Tony La Russa, an animal lover. Tony, one of the few guys who would like that sound. Greeted by his dogs and cats on Friday morning at 4:30 a.m.
Marrero lines one into center for Lofton. 2 up, 2 down.
When the Cardinals arrived here in the San Francisco area, and his one rabbit named Dude was ambivalent about Tony's arrival.
Said it was really the only animal that they owned that didn't really care to see Tony. The rabbit. The rabbit didn't care to see Tony. Dude, the rabbit.
Dude, the rabbit. Tony would appreciate that monkey sound, perhaps.
2 out, nobody on for Matheny. In for strike 1 from Reuter, who's trying to have his first perfect inning of the night. One ball, 1 strike. Matheny was up. Back in the second and grounded out. Had Renteria in scoring position. St. Louis 0 for 5 tonight. 3 out of 36 now, with runners in scoring position as Matheny is up on the count. 2 balls and a strike. The Giants, on the other hand, as we showed you when we gave you a look at the lineups, have been outstanding with runners in scoring position, particularly with 2 outs in this series. And a lot of that damage was done back in Game 1 against Matt Morris. 2-2 on Matheny. A 4-run, 6-hit rally with 2 out, and the second inning was Morris's undoing. Tonight, Morris has been perfect through 3. But the Giants and these fans will take what Reuter's given them. Shutout baseball despite the 5 hits. The 2-2, full count.
Important pitch right here to retire Matheny. So you have the pitcher leading off the 5th inning.
To the left side for Bell. Gets a true hop. Makes a decent throw. And the Cardinals go 1-2-3. It'll be Lofton, Aurelian, Kent for the Giants in the 4th. Still, there is no score. Kirk Reuter can have a seat on the dugout bench and watch Kenny Lofton, Rich Aurelia, and Jeff Kent try to figure out Matt Morris, who's retired all 9 Giants hitters he's faced. The Giants a win here tonight. This NLCS will end and they'll move on to the World Series. Lofton hit. And Morris comes all the way in off the mound to pick up the ball.
And in a game like this, if anybody thinks that Morris threw it Lofton purposely, well, they're wrong.
I know one guy who thinks it.
Remember that in game 1? Well, if Lofton thinks it now, he's as wrong as he was in game 1. That was game 1. I mean, the Cardinals are trying to win the game. He's perfect through 3. It is absurd to think that this was on purpose. Absurd. Now, is it a fastball inside with intent? Absolutely. But to hit him, no way.
Realize that Lofton has been 0 for 16 since the home run and then the incident with Mike Crudale on the mound. And now Lofton is on. The Giants have their first base runner. You can see what Lofton had done since those first 3 plate appearances, all against Matt Morris. Now it's Rich Aurelia with Kent and Bonds to follow.
If you're Kenny Lofton, you say thank you very much. I'm on base. Chance to sew things up. Aurelia may be bunting here.
1 steal in this series for Lofton. There's the bunt. Pujols flips to Vina. 1 out. And the sacrifice is good. 3-4. And Kent will walk in.
That is the 3rd sacrifice attempt by Aurelia in this series. Now Lofton very dangerous at second base with 1 out. Could attempt to steal third base with Kent up. Sometimes when you get hit by a pitch, whether it's intentional or not, you get angry and you want to keep running. Run.
Kent would like to give him that opportunity. Kent 0 for 1 tonight. A breaking ball in for a strike. For those of you wondering what the 49ers are doing, they're up 3-0 on Seattle. Early in that game, an NFC West battle on Monday Night Football. Here, NLCS between St. Louis and San Francisco. No score. Game 5 with the Giants up 3-1, trying to move on to the World Series for the first time since 1989. And for only the 3rd time since the Giants moved to San Francisco in '58. That's driven to dead center field. Back is Edmonds. In front of the track, tagging, advancing to 3rd is Lofton, 2 out.
Jeff Kent hit it well, but Edmonds tracks it down. And this is a pretty easy decision for Tony La Russa. If you walk Barry Bonds in the 8th inning with 2 out and nobody on, with a runner in scoring position in Kenny Lofton. If you do pitch to him, we saw the Cardinals do this in game 1. You're throwing fastballs off the plate away.
Anything over the heart of the plate from Morris would be a mistake from Morris as he tries, you would believe, to pitch around Barry Bonds. Ball 1.
The problem with this is that in the process of pitching around him, you could throw a wild pitch or have a pass ball. If you're going to be that far out of the strike zone.
That's into left field and will carry to Marrero. So over the outside part of the plate, Barry Bonds went after it, hit it hard, but right at Marrero. The Giants strand their first. No score into the 5th. Back after this from your local Fox. We go to the 5th inning. Matt Morris will be the hitter, talking to Santiago as he digs his way into the batter's box. The only base runner against Morris with a right-hander hit Kenny Lofton to start the bottom of the 4th. And there's a strike over the outside corner. Our Sprint virtual manager question: were you surprised that the Cardinals pitched to Barry Bonds? The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'll ask you, did they pitch, quote unquote, to Barry Bonds?
Yeah, was that a mistake that he hit? It looked like the pitch had enough of the plate to be a strike. I was surprised it was a strike. You could see Matheny, however, sitting way outside. I think that pitch would have been a strike, but Matheny reaching back to his right. If it was a strike, it wasn't intended.
Morris 2-2. You remember what Tony La Russa said prior to game one with what they were going to do, or what Barry Bonds should do. That was expand his zone, because those are the only pitches he's going to get to hit. As Morris stays up there, and then he brought up the name Ted Williams, saying that was one of the knocks on Ted Williams, that he never expanded his zone with the left side of the infield wide open and just poke one the opposite way. That drew a reaction from Dusty Baker. And then obviously the questions were turned on Barry Bonds. The 2-2 pitch. Morris floats one into right for Goodwin, 1 out.
It seems to me, in thinking about it, that a walk to Barry Bonds in that situation made more sense than it did last night, because Barry Bonds led the National League in hitting with the .370 average. What the Giants needed was a hit for a run to be scored. Lofton at third with 2 outs. Of course, that's thinking after the fact as far as last night is concerned. Last night, a tie ball game in the 8th. Tonight, a tie ball game in the 5th, but a runner at third.
Here's the answer. No is the answer on the Sprint Virtual Manager question. You were surprised the Cardinals pitched to Bonds. 62% said no. The 0-1 pitch. Vina. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bonds hit it hard. It just happened to be right at Eli Marrero, who was playing over closer toward left center field. Vina's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. And a good play by Reuter to take a hit away. 2 out. He's caught a line drive and now fielded a sharply hit ground ball.
Pickett Wilson. My goodness. Quick hands by Reuter for the 2nd out here in the 5th.
So now with 2 out, nobody on, here's Cairo, who hit the line drive back at Reuter in the 1st and then singled through the right side in the 3rd. Still early in the 1st quarter, we're told. San Francisco and Seattle. Cairo into left field. Barry Bonds. The Cardinals go in order for this. He's caught a line drive and now fielded a sharply hit ground ball.
Pickett Wilson. My goodness. Quick hands by Reuter for the 2nd out here in the 5th.
So now with 2 out, nobody on, here's Cairo, who hit the line drive back at Reuter in the 1st and then singled through the right side in the 3rd. Still early in the 1st quarter, we're told. San Francisco and Seattle. Cairo into left field. Barry Bonds. The Cardinals go in order for the 2nd straight inning, and that's 8 in a row retired by Reuter. Bottom of the 5th inning. Santiago, Goodwin, Snow coming up, no score in San Francisco. Some of the cargo ships that are out in the Bay Area. Beautiful setting. And it's the bottom of the 5th with no score. And Santiago, one of last night's heroes, leads it off. Benito grounded out to 3rd on a shattered bat back in the 2nd. Goodwin will follow, and then JT Snow. 2-0.
See Morris look in at home plate umpire Tim Welke. Sometimes when a guy squares around a bunt, it confuses the home plate umpire as to where the real strike zone is. But normally a pitcher would get that. That was not too high.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Santiago on the inside corner. 2-1 in-game box score for the Giants, sponsored by Chevy Trucks. All zeros except for the hit by pitch with Lofton last inning and the sacrifice bunt by Aurelia. Otherwise, Morris has had his way. And on the hands of Santiago, big swing, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
4 straight fastballs to Santiago. Remember last night, the 2-run homer came on an inside part of the plate fastball about mid-thigh high.
Santiago steps out. Here's a 2-2. Breaking ball stays inside. Santiago went down. A pitch that wasn't that close to him. 3-2.
Reaction here at Pac Bell, oohs and ahs. That's a breaking ball. Every ballpark coast to coast. Overreactions, I'm telling you. Not only here, but everywhere. Anything close, boo, boo.
It's a full count on Santiago. Starting off the 5th inning for the Giants. And a leadoff walk. Tom Goodwin struck out his first time. Andy Bennis gives the play-by-play pitch by pitch.
Heater fouled over the dugout. Uncle Charlie, 95 in your knuckles. Then a hook.
Andy's probably thinking right now he's bunting. He is up there to bunt, and he is.
So is Cairo thinking that way. Goodwin can fly. Santiago, the runner at first with nobody out. And time called at the plate. Matt Morris came into game 1 against the Giants after putting up a 2-0 record during the regular season against San Francisco, allowing 1 run in 16 innings pitched with 16 strikeouts. Back-to-back starts in the middle of July.
Is that a shock? Pardon me, Joe. That might have been a missed sign. Goodwin, a good bunter. I guess Dusty Baker thinking the bottom part of the lineup's coming up. You have JT Snow and David Bell, and then the pitcher Kirk Reuter. Normally in situations like this, Goodwin would be up there bunting.
First start of this series for Goodwin, taking the place of Reggie Sanders. Still swinging, and now he's in the hole 0-2.
A little surprised?
Absolutely.
Of course, he is a tough guy to double. He runs so well. But now he's in the hole 0-2.
Forget the back end of it. To me, the benefit is getting Santiago into scoring position for JT Snow, who's been a big producer with hits in this series and the first one against Atlanta. Over 300 in the postseason. The 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Goodwin. Reggie Sanders had started every game through last night. Finally got his first hit last night, but is 1 for 16 in this series, and starting this one on the bench. One out. And there's another Uncle Charlie for Andy Bennis to talk about and Tom Goodwin to look at. 3rd strikeout for Matt Morris.
That was Lord Charles right here.
That's not Uncle? So you've taken it from Uncle Charlie and gone Lord Charles because of the nastiness of that pitch. Lord Charles is nastier than Uncle Charlie.
That's right. A lot nastier than Uncle Charlie. He had no chance on that. That's the first time I heard that was in the middle 80s when Dwight Gooden broke onto the scene. 24-4 in 1985. He threw a few Lord Charleses. That's proper.
Ball 1 outside to JT Snow.
I guess Chucky's a hanger, right?
Yeah.
Goes from Chucky, Uncle Charlie to Lord Charles.
Santiago drew a leadoff walk. Goodwin struck out looking, and that's line to Cairo. Two out.
You could clearly hear Charlie Relaford say, save.
So Snow hit it on the nose, but lined it to Cairo, and now David Bell. Bell is 5 out of 14 in this series. And looking back at what he did in game 1, Bell homered against Matt Morris in the 5th inning, and that was the last batter that Morris faced that night. Ball 1 low.
Jay Watasic warming up. Kirk Reuter on deck. So if David Bell gets on there, there may be a delaying tactic by Dusty Baker, and he could pinch hit for Reuter.
There's a curveball. Andy Bennis had this to say about the curveball strength 3 to Goodwin.
That's nasty there.
That's all said by Andy Bennis. That's nasty it was, and Goodwin became the first out. Snow lined out. Now a 1-1 to Bell. Into right field, falling in a hurry. That is a hit. Digging for third is Santiago. Getting it back in is Eduardo Perez. And Santiago is calling for interference, and the third base umpire, Jeff Nelson, is hearing none of it, even though Santiago ran into Cairo.
In touching the bag. A fielder without the ball cannot get in the way of a runner. Ball down the right field line. Sonny Jackson was thinking about sending Santiago. Watch what happens right on the bag without the ball. To me, that's interference. Pujols tried to get out of the way of the oncoming Santiago, but he did make contact. You can't make contact with a base runner. Jeff Nelson explaining. Here it is one more time. Around third. Santiago's in his way, makes contact. Obviously, he can't score after contact is made. The way I see it, it's interference on Pujols.
You can see part of the discussion between Dusty Baker and Jeff Nelson. One thing Nelson says was in my judgment, and that's when Dusty Baker gave Nelson that look like, what?
Then you get help. It's in your judgment. I mean, if the Giants win this game, they go to the World Series. The importance of this game dictates that you get help. You make contact with the runner without the ball. Obviously, he was trying to get out of the way, but Cairo should not have been there. And Santiago wanted interference called. The way I see it, interference should have been called.
Kirk Reuter instead bats with second and third, 2 out, and takes a ball. So Watasic down in the bullpen was nothing more than a decoy, as Reuter does bat with runners on at second and third, 2 out. It was a play at third with Alex Cintron running, an interference play where Scott Rowland suffered the injury in game 2 of the division series. Morris takes care of Reuter, and the Giants strand 2, and there will be a lot more said about that play at third. Jeff Nelson, the third base umpire, on a play that could have been ruled interference, and instead of sending Santiago to the plate with that call, back to third, and he was left there. No score after 5 in game 5.
About them, and then the all-time quarterback rating. I mean, it's amazing. Kurt Warner still injured, of course, just under 100. Then Young is second, Montana third, Garcia fourth, all time.
So would you say it's the guy or the system in the fourth?
We'll have a lot to say about that play at third base. I brought up the Rowland situation because the Cardinals have seen, potentially, even though it wasn't called this way, interference on a runner, not allowing the fielder to field the ball when Rowland was injured by Cintron slamming into him as he was going to field a ground ball in the division series. And this one, I'll throw in with you and agree with you, could very easily have been called interference on Miguel Cairo with Santiago rounding the third base bag.
That's the key, rounding the bag, because by rounding the bag, you could attempt to score with 2 outs and the pitcher up. Ball just fair by David Bell, the first hit for the Giants. Now watch Santiago. He's rounding the bag. He has an intent to score. If he's pulling into the bag, that's a different situation.
Jim Edmonds leads off and takes a strike. And if the words were uttered in my judgment by the third base umpire, it's not a judgment call.
Not if in Kellogg's judgment, the runner's not trying to score. In other words, if the umpire says, well, in my judgment, he wasn't trying to score. I mean, that's foolish, because he was rounding the bag with every intent to score, in my view.
No balls, 2 strikes on Edmonds leading off. Reuter back to work. 6th inning, no score.
See, there was not even a throw. Not even a throw toward Cairo. The throw was coming home. So what is Cairo doing on third base? It's interference.
A 1-2 pitch. Edmonds strikes out looking. 2nd strikeout for Reuter.
Right on the outside corner to get Jim Edmonds.
The only other Reuter strikeout came with Pujols at the plate. Runners on at 1st and 3rd, back in the 3rd. The Cardinals threatening, and Pujols struck out looking over the inside corner. 1 out here. Ball 1, low and away.
Joe McGrain is in our booth, and Joe made a very good point. If Benito Santiago went out of his way to make contact with Cairo, then that also would not have been interference.
Pujols hits one to dead center field. Back at the track, Kenny Lofton, 2 out.
One more look. See, Santiago was on his way home. He didn't go out of his way. He's pushing Cairo out of his way. That right there is blatant.
Joe McGrain, who was a pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals in the '87 NLCS, is standing by for what may be a post-game celebration for the San Francisco Giants. If they win tonight, they're in the World Series for the 3rd time since moving the franchise to San Francisco. Eduardo Perez batting with 2 out, nobody on. It's been a rare pitching duel in this game 5. Reuter and Matt Morris. Morris has allowed the 1 hit which started that play. The flare down the right field line by David Bell. And now you go back, Tim. Lost in what transpired in that inning was Goodwin not bunting.
That's right. Good point.
After the leadoff walk to Santiago, Goodwin struck out. Snow lined out instead of having Santiago in scoring position for Bell. And maybe they don't pitch to Bell with Reuter coming out.
That's fair.
Because the Giants didn't bunt. Bell's double only pushed Santiago as far as third base as the count goes to 2-1 on Eduardo Perez.
Reuter appears to be getting stronger as this game goes on. Matt Morris has been strong throughout.
That's low. Perez, by the way, who's not known for what he does with the glove, doesn't get a chance to play the outfield very much. Made a good play down the right field line as that ball hit the wall. Didn't fumble it. And that's what kept Santiago, that and Miguel Cairo, from coming to the plate. I'm not so sure that Sonny Jackson wasn't holding Santiago as he rounded third base. Santiago was rounding the bag hard, and I'm not so sure that he was coming to the plate, but that's really insignificant in the play if Cairo interfered with Santiago, because you do then get into judgment calls, and that's not the right way to handle it.
Yeah, third base umpire can't look at the third base coach and say, well, he wasn't waving you on. How many times have you seen guys run through stop signs?
Renteria grounds one off the glove of Kent. Eduardo Perez will hold at second, and it's 2 on with 2 out as Renteria gets his second hit of the night.
Kent diving to his right, tried to smother the ball for a play at second base on the slow-footed Perez, but it squirts too far away. Second base hit for Renteria.
Now Dave Righetti, the pitching coach, is going to come out and talk with Reuter as Felix Rodriguez cranks it up. For the Giants in their bullpen, Rodriguez has been involved in every game of this NLCS, with one exception. And that was game 2, a game that Schmidt started. Talked about the different bullpens coming into this series. The Cardinals were proud of what their group did, but San Francisco seemed to hit the playoffs at the right time with guys like Felix Rodriguez. Tim Worrell had a great year. Rob Nen is a solid closer, and that trio has combined to shut down and end Cardinal rallies when they've had the chance. Now the Cardinals trying to put one on here in the 6th with 2 on, 2 out. Ball 1 to Marrero, who is lined out and grounded out.
Reuter has pitched Marrero consistently away all night.
2-0. Tony La Russa calls this lineup his Caribbean Series lineup, getting right-handed bats in there like Marrero and Eduardo Perez and Miguel Cairo. Scott Air and Felix Rodriguez getting loose as Marrero takes strike 1.
What happens is you're pitched on the corner so many times, you get one down the fat part of the plate, you don't know what to do with it. You can't pull the trigger. That was a fat fastball from Reuter.
To the right side. True hop for Kent. And the Cardinals have stranded 7. Unable to get the hit when they need it most in this series for the Cardinals. Reuter, good work through 6. Giants bat, bottom half against Morris, no score. Lofton walks to the plate, top of the order for the Giants in the bottom of the 6th inning, no score. Lofton, Aurelia, and Kent. If anybody gets on Barry Bonds against Matt Morris, who has walked 1, hit 1, the guy at the plate, and allowed 1 hit, a double by Bell last inning. Ball 1 to Lofton. Kenny is lined to right and then was hit by the pitch. Now he has a base hit. And a good start to this 6th inning for San Francisco. Ron Wolters is wearing a microphone for us. The bench coach for Dusty Baker was talking with Santiago after that controversial play at 3rd last inning.
Up your paper, you're picking up paper coming around there.
Oh, judgment?
You call obstruction, and then it's his judgment whether he'd score or not.
So he called obstruction, and he said he's okay at 3rd base. That's why he kept pointing. I couldn't figure out why he was pointing at 3rd base. He kept pointing to 3rd.
They call obstruction on the defense, interference on a base runner, and that is the call. As in the 3rd base umpire, Jeff Nelson's judgment, the collision between Cairo and Santiago did not impede Santiago's progress, as Aurelia, instead of bunting, is swinging, and that's strike 1.
Dusty Baker has been consistently inconsistent with bunts in this series. Of course, he does have a sign with Rich Aurelia as to whether he puts the bunt on or not. It's up to Aurelia. Do you want to bunt? Are you seeing the ball well? You can hit. If you're not, you can bunt. May change it here.
Runner at first, nobody out. No balls, 1 strike, and now Aurelia is hit. And it's 2 on with nobody out. 2nd hit batsman of the game from Matt Morris.
Stan Conti, the trainer, out looking at Aurelia. It looked like it hit him on the, or did it hit the knob of the bat? May have hit both. Maybe the inside of the left hand. It was very close to hitting the knob of the bat, and often, if not often, sometimes hits both. Ooh. Looked to me like it only hit the knob of the bat, but a home plate umpire has got to go on a hitter's reaction. A hitter can't think that quickly to react like something hurts. If it hurts, the ball hit him.
Now it's 2 on with nobody out, and Jeff Kent is at the plate. No RBIs in this series. Breaking ball for strike 1.
And Jeff Kent has not sacrificed since 1998. Don't look for it here. No reason to do that with Bonds on deck anyway.
To third, Cairo steps on, fires across, double play. Down to second is Aurelia. First base is open, and Barry Bonds is coming to the plate.
Curveball, easy double play as Cairo steps on the bag. The long throw easily gets Kent.
And now the decision is made by Tony La Russa, as opposed to what happened back in the 4th inning with Lofton in scoring position. They pitched to Barry Bonds. He got one over the outside part of the plate, or a little farther outside, and lined into left. The intentional pass to put 2 on and give Benito Santiago yet another chance to hurt the Cardinals. A base hit, a hit batsman, a double play. Ball 4 to Bonds. 2 on, 2 out. Benito Santiago had this to say about the pressure of hitting behind Bonds.
I've been hitting like from months and a half or 2 months behind this man, and it's not easy. It's not easy to go up there and see that they're walking this guy all the time to try to get me. It's a lot of work.
He made it look easy last night.
Four RBIs in game 1. Last night, the 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th. 2 on, 2 out, and a curveball in for strike 1. Lofton started this with a base hit to right, then Aurelia was hit by a pitch. Kent bounced into a double play. The walk to Bonds, and here's Santiago again. The 37-year-old catcher takes ball 1.
That's a term you don't hear very often, a 37-year-old catcher.
Especially not one that plays as much as Santiago and is as vital to his team's success as Santiago. A 1-1 pitch. Another curveball, another strike.
Morris threw Santiago all fastballs his first time up, and now 3 straight curves, to where Santiago is vulnerable for that inside sinker. He shattered his bat his first at bat.
The 1-2 to the left side. Cairo inning over, and this one falls into the category of a missed chance for the Giants, trying to move on with a win to the World Series. We go to the 7th inning, game 5. St. Louis San Francisco. No score. Bottom two in the order will start it here in the top of the 7th inning. A lot of conversation now, and I'm sure after the game, about the obstruction play at third base involving Benito Santiago. Steve Palermo, who is one of the supervisors of Major League Baseball umpires, has been kind enough to join us and really straighten out something that we didn't pick up, that on that play obstruction was called by the third base umpire.
Yes, it was, Joe. It was a great call by Jeff Nelson down at third. He immediately called it as soon as there was contact between Santiago and the third baseman. And as he watched this play develop, then he put Santiago back at third. And you can pick it up here. You see Santiago round now. There's the obstruction right there. Jeff Nelson is pointing and he's screaming obstruction, obstruction, obstruction. And now he points and he awards third base. Had there been a play being made on that runner at that particular base, Jeff Nelson would have awarded him home. But because there wasn't a direct play made on him, not a direct play, Jeff Nelson, in his judgment, did not think that Santiago would have scored. So therefore, he puts him at third. And you must be 100% sure that the runner can score on that play.
Mike Matheny leading off. 1 ball, 1 strike. We look at the rule, Timmy, 706B, and why don't you take us through it, Steve?
Well, to paraphrase that, because we try and break it down in simpler terms, it's almost like a doctor talking all the time and going to talk over your head. But in that umpire's judgment, as you can see, there was no play being made on Santiago, directly on him. And in the judgment of Jeff Nelson, had he thought that he could have scored on that, then he will impose a penalty at that time. But in his judgment, with Santiago rounding third base, he deemed, and I think, in my own opinion, he deemed correctly. He most certainly deemed correctly, as far as all umpires interpret the play, that he would have not scored on that play. And now he's awarded third base. Had there been a play back into third and they tagged out Santiago, you would have seen Jeff Nelson allow him to stay on third base.
But does it not seem reasonable that the reason no play was made on Santiago was because the obstruction of Cairo?
No, because the ball was hit to the outfield. Now the ball is coming back in, and it's not a direct play at third base, Timmy. That play, if anywhere, is going to take place at home plate. So
what if it's a bad relay?
Well, it does. You cannot. You have to assume that major league player is going to make a major league play. So you assume that the outfielder will throw the ball to the cutoff man, and now he will turn and he will throw at the home plate, and it'll be a correct replay. You can't assume things that didn't happen would happen. Here you can see him pick up the ball. Santiago is now being obstructed just as he's getting that ball in. Now that's going to be a close play at home plate, because you see Pujols turn and ready to throw. It was not a bad throw, and that's everything. If you watch, Jeff Nelson delayed his call just a little bit. His timing was excellent on that play, to where he pointed to third base and said, no, you're staying right here.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Matheny goes into right center field. Lofton on the run. Can't make the catch. And Matheny will scoot into second base and hold there to start the 7th inning. It's ruled a double on the ball hit to right center.
The ball tailing away from Kenny Lofton off the webbing. Even with the big outfielder's glove, he can't get to it.
Tim, I can tell by your facial reaction that you're still not buying the explanation of the play.
Well, I think there are an awful lot of things to assume from the 2 outfielders, from the outfielder making the throw, the infielder receiving the throw, and the catcher about to receive the throw. To assume all of those things, you're really robbing Santiago of the opportunity to score, are you not?
And I also make the assumption then, Timmy, that it's possible that Santiago could have tripped and fallen and stumbled in between third and home.
That's more unlikely than 3 guys handling the ball incorrectly.
Well, again, we see major league players make a major league play, and this umpire made the correct call according to the rules. He does not make the rules, he just enforces the rules. And this is why a lot of the rules have to be revisited. I understand your point. You're saying from the right fielder throwing to the first baseman in this case and now relaying to home, would that have all been handled cleanly? Well, we see enough baseball to where we see it handled all the time. That's what spring training is all about, with all that practice. And they carry it through during the entire season.
Morris is up there trying to get a bunt down. He does. Rodriguez throws to third, safe, and it's first and third with nobody out. Jeff Nelson made the call. Matheny looked like he got in before the tag, and it's first and third with nobody out.
That's Santiago's call. The catcher sees the runner and what kind of break he has. Ill-advised with a tag play necessary.
Looking at it again, Tim, it looked like Matheny's right foot kicked up on the leg of Bell, and you could see why Bell argued that he got the tag down before Matheny's leg hit the base.
Bell's foot blocking the base. That's perfectly legal. Yep. From that standpoint and that angle, it looked like he was out. But that is an ill-advised throw. If there were a forced play at third base, then you take the chance. Clearly, the throw is late. But you're right, Joe. The right leg of Matheny hitting the left foot of Bell flips that right foot up. And then when the tag is made, neither the right foot nor the left leg is on the bag.
So it's first and third with nobody out.
A lot of stuff's happening, huh, Steve?
That's Billy Webb for you. He gets places where no director should be allowed to get.
Fernando Vina with a chance to put St. Louis on top in this scoreless game. 7th inning of Game 5. Ball 1 down and in. The Cardinals have had a number of chances in this game, in this series, and have not been able to push the run across. Matheny does not have great speed at third, and Matt Morris is the runner over at first with nobody out. A ball that went for a double off the glove of Lofton. Then a sacrifice fielder's choice, and Vina flies one into left center field. Bonds with a chance to throw. He throws into second, and Matheny tags and scores. The Cardinals lead 1-0. Sac fly by Vina, and the Cardinals break on top here in the 7th inning. Well, no doubt a confusing play over at third, and I think, Steve Palermo, you said something at the very end that applies here. The third base umpire, Jeff Nelson, made the proper call according to how the rules are written. Like it or not, he did what he was supposed to do. The Giants fans won't like that call, and the result was Santiago was left at third base.
I think, Joe, in a nutshell, that's just it. And, you know, the thing is, we have to seat an umpire on the rules committee because they have the best understanding of how to apply all of these rules. And until we get that done, we're going to have some confusion because you have lawmakers and then you have the people who must enforce. And we should put one of the enforcers on the rules committee so that there is some reality written within the rule itself.
Is that something you think should be revisited, that particular play?
No. I think all in baseball, who understand baseball, interpret it the same way. And I don't think that you can possibly assume that a runner is going to score, no question about it.
Here's a base hit up the middle by Miguel Cairo. Morris will hold at second, and the Cardinals have gotten to Felix Rodriguez here in the 7th inning. Steve Palermo, thank you very much for coming up and clarifying what took place over at third base in that 6th inning. I know a lot of people will talk about it. We get a look at the rule, and we get it from you, a supervisor of Major League umpires. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Steve.
So now Jim Edmonds will step to the plate, and we'll see if Dusty Baker will go to his bullpen and call on a left-hander. Runners on at first and second, one out. And Felix Rodriguez, it appears, is going to stay in and face Jim Edmonds. Two on, one out. Edmonds pops it foul, out of play. Tim Worrell just scampered down to the bullpen, and he joins Scott Air, loosening up here in the 7th inning.
Cardinals have stranded 7 coming in to the 7th inning. Finally plated one. This has been there has been a lot of action in this ball game for only 1 run having scored.
No balls, 1 strike on Edmonds, who has 2 hits and 3 trips to the plate. and tight, 1 ball, 1 strike. So where we erred was the judgment is indeed a part of that rule. You saw the reaction by Dusty Baker hearing that from Jeff Nelson. Where you think the error is made, and I would tend to agree, and I think it's a little fuzzier than it's made out to be, is that the judgment in this case isn't so clear-cut that Benito Santiago wasn't coming to the plate with a legitimate chance to score.
Or that with 3 guys handling the ball, that there wouldn't have been a foul up in the process of trying to throw Santiago out. A high throw, a low throw, what have you. But that was so clear. Steve was in his explanation, certainly from the judgment of Jeff Nelson. There's no way you can protest a judgment call or really argue any further. That's why Dusty Baker was out there for a short time.
Runners on at first and second, 1 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jim Edmonds as the Cardinals try to add to their 1-0 7th inning lead. Two hits, 2 sacrifices in the inning, and Edmonds pops it straight up. Back behind the plate, Santiago gives it a look, and it's just on the other side of the backstop. You could hear it hit the netting on its way down.
And Santiago runs out of room.
So a break for St. Louis as Edmonds gets another chance. Morris, the lead runner at second. Cairo with his 2nd hit tonight on at first. The Giants a win here tonight. They're in the World Series. A loss tonight, and the series will shift back to St. Louis on Wednesday night. Here's a 1-2. Too high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. A battle between Edmonds and Felix Rodriguez. Rodriguez and Santiago could not come together on what to throw. The Cardinals have out-hit the Giants 8-2. Last night out-hit the Giants 12-4, but lost 4-3. The Cardinals did in Game 4. That's out of play.
Edmonds with that unusual stroke. It's almost as though he were swinging uphill. A lot of those towering home runs. Very few line drive home runs off the bat of Edmonds.
Two on with 1 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Edmonds. Reaching out and popping it into left for Bonds. 2 out. That'll bring in Albert Pujols, who last night had a chance to tie the game. First and third, 1 out against Rob Nen. Struck out. Tonight, early on, first and third, 1 out, 3rd inning. Struck out looking on a rare inside fastball from Kirk Reuter. And now a chance here with 2 on, 2 out. And the Cardinals up by a run in the 7th. Worrell and Air just watching now as Felix Rodriguez tries to get out of trouble. Reuter went the first 6. Ball 1 high.
These short series are series of atonement. Pujols giving an opportunity here. Matt Morris, another opportunity, has pitched very, very well. Kirk Reuter pitched very, very well through 6. It's a fastball here. Shaking yes, then no, then yes.
High again. It's 2-0.
Of course, with Rodriguez, most pitches are fastballs anyway. It's as though Benito Santiago didn't need to give a sign behind the plate.
Santiago looking up into the eyes of Albert Pujols as he waits to give the sign. 2 balls, no strikes. Felix Rodriguez to Pujols. Into left field, didn't get it all, and Barry Bonds will wait and grab it. The Cardinals get the first run of the night. A leadoff double by Matheny. Off the glove of Lofton. After the bunt by Morris, the play is third. Matheny called safe, and he was there to score on the sac fly by Vigna. Time to stretch. We've partnered with a Saturn Light Ship to bring you aerial coverage of this afternoon's game. Now this evening, we hope you're enjoying this unique look from up above as the Cardinals make a change defensively and insert J.D. Drew in the outfield and right to help the defense behind Matt Morris as this game progresses into the bottom of the 7th. Cannon Kyle, the 5 3/4-year-old son of Darrell and Flynn Kyle, has been an inspiration to the Cardinals since the series shifted out here to San Francisco. Matt Morris had this to say about the presence of Cannon in the dugout.
Whenever he's around, and a couple days shortly after DK passed away, he was around, and just to see him smiling and running around and you know, shagging with us, things like that, tend to eases everybody's pain. For him, for us, I think more for us, to be honest.
Matt Morris has been playing with Cannon before games 3 and 4, not tonight. But Matt was speaking with Darrell Kyle's widow Flynn just before heading out to make this game 5 start, and so far he has shut out the Giants on 2 hits through 6 innings. His teammates have staked him to a 1-run lead, and here is Tom Goodwin to lead off with JT Snow and David Bell to follow. Goodwin has struck out looking twice. Takes ball 1. Off the mask of Matheny, 1 ball, 1 strike.
The problem that Matt Morris had in game 1 of the nerves, it has not reared its ugly head tonight. He is in total control thus far with electric stuff in the strike zone.
Time called as Goodwin makes Morris stop his windup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Snow on deck. 2-1.
Oh, you look at that outfield, shaded way around toward left field. Way around.
That's behind second base for Fernando Vigna. And the leadoff man is gone. Go to MLB.com to bid on special autographed and game-used items currently up for auction to benefit the September 11 Disaster Relief Fund. That's at MLB.com. Here's JT Snow. Snow is lined out. He's flied out to left. Going the opposite way against Morris so far tonight, and a breaking ball is in for strike 1. 5 out of 18 in this series for JT Snow. Strike 2. Side, Albert Pujols will take it himself. 2 up, 2 down. Morris working his way through the 7th. The Cardinals in the 8th inning will have Drew, Renteria, and Marrero.
Morris has mixed his pitches up beautifully. 3 straight curveballs to JT Snow, and he gets him on the 3rd one. Not only mixing his pitches during the at-bat, but from bat to bat, at-bat to at-bat.
Here's David Bell. One of only 2 giant hits tonight. First pitch swinging, and that ball is going to head out of play. So far, Matt Morris has needed only 75 pitches to work through 6 2/3 innings. In the first game, by the way, when he was knocked out in the 5th, Morris's pitch count was 88. Here's an 0-1 to Bell. 1 ball, 1 strike. 95 miles per hour from Morris here in the 7th.
That expression in baseball about hitters being locked in, pitchers can be locked in also. And Morris locked in tonight.
A 1-1 pitch. Popped up behind the plate, and that'll get back and out of play. Strike 2. David Bell doubled back in the 5th inning. That was a play that sent Santiago over to 3rd. As Steve Palermo told us, obstruction was called on the play. The official scorer, we understand, was unaware of that. Press box was as well until moments ago. Left side in the hole. Renteria grabs it, throws it. Good play, and the inning is over. The Giants go in order. We go to the 8th. Matt Morris doing his part, trying to get some breathing room from Drew, Renteria, and Marrero. 1-0 St. Louis. Go to the 8th inning. Sean Dunston in the game in right field. Goodwin is out. And now pitching and batting in Goodwin's spot, the number 6 hole, is Scott Air, the left-hander who has been very sharp for Dusty Baker this postseason. J.D. Drew first up. Strike 1. Drew, Renteria, Marrero. This is Drew's first at bat after taking over for Eduardo Perez in right. Drew struck out to end the game last night against Rob Nen. Reaching for it, 0-2. For those of you just joining us, we are 1-0 in the 8th inning. Game 5 of this NLCS, with the Giants up 3-1. Back Bell Park, Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, Steve Palermo, Joe McGrain as well, Michael Weissman and Bill Webb, and it's been a tight one, obviously, by the score. The Cardinals have missed a number of scoring chances. Last night, 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position, and tonight able to push home only 1 on a sac fly by Vigna. On the other side, Matt Morris has allowed only 2 hits. Drew grounds to Snow. 1 out. In case you're wondering, the Cardinals are 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position tonight, with the 1 run scoring on a sac fly. If there is a game 6, it will be Wednesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, in St. Louis. The Giants and Cardinals. Dusty Baker is going to make a pitching change, as Tim Worrell will enter. Renteria, Marrero coming up. We're in the 8th. St. Louis is on top, 1-0. Tim Worrell is the 4th pitcher of the night for San Francisco. Reuter, Rodriguez, Air, and now Worrell. 1 out, nobody on in the 8th, and a strike on the outside corner from last night's winner, Worrell. Tim had to work 2/3 of the 8th inning and gave way to Rob Nen, who made it interesting, but got the save. His 5th of this postseason. That's a fair ball, and Renteria is out. 2 out.
Looked like Renteria was pointing to foul territory. Clearly that ball was fair. It doesn't matter where it lands initially. It's where it ends up. Obstruction.
The only thing I can see,
he almost kicked the ball. Obviously he would be out. Watch that movement right. And now in making the tag, Benito Santiago dropped the ball, but clearly Renteria was out. Edgar saying that ball was foul, but has nothing to do with where it starts out. It's where it ends up.
So now Eli Marrero stands in. And Marrero is hitless on the night, 0 for 3. Laurel trying to finish off the top of the 8th. A cue shot under the glove of Laurel to Kent. Barehand picked up for the out. Kent due up 4th for the Giants in the bottom of the 8th. Matt Morris will head back to work. Dunston, Lofton, Aurelia coming up. Still 1-0 St. Louis in Game 5. The crowd getting revved up for the bottom of the 8th with Dunston to lead it off against Matt Morris. 1-0 Cardinals in Game 5. A former Cardinal, Sean Dunston, facing Matt Morris. Ball 1.
Charlie Relaford saying the body went around, but not the bat. Good call.
Top of the order and Kenny Lofton next. .94 miles per hour, and Dunston late with that hat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
No one warming for the Cardinals for good reason. That's how sharp Morris has been.
Breaking ball is hit to third, foul, strike 2. Sean Dunston during the regular season at .231. As a pinch hitter was 4 out of 24 with 1 pinch hit home run. Seldom used in this postseason. One out, and a pretty good indication of how the curveball looks to these Giant hitters with that reaction from Sean Dunston.
Wow. Jelly legs. Both legs buckle. A little tough when you have to wait 8 innings before facing that type of curveball. Wicked.
Here's Kenny Lofton, who has tried to start something for the Giants twice. A leadoff hit in the 6th inning, was hit by a pitch leading off in the 4th. The best chance for the Giants tonight came back in the 6th. Strike 1, a leadoff hit by Lofton. Aurelia was hit by a pitch. With 2 on and nobody out, Jeff Kent hit a 1-hopper to third for a 5-3 double play. That's strike 2. Then after a walk to Bonds, Santiago grounded out. Otherwise, Morris has been doing a lot of this.
In our scouting report tonight, we said that snapping, sharp curveball.
Breaking ball up the middle, base hit. Lofton on base for the 3rd time tonight.
That's the first mistake of the night. Not with pitch selection, but with where it is. Lofton
looked so bad on 2 curveballs, and now a fastball right down the pipe. Morris thinking better of trying to catch that ball with his pitching hand.
Now the tying run is on. And Rich Aurelia is at the plate. Aurelia 0 for 1 tonight. Ball 1. Base hit. 2 on with 1 out in the 8th.
Morris retired. Sean Dunston with the curveball. Then he got the count to 0-2 to Kenny Lofton with curveballs. He's gone away from the curve, and the 2 hits this inning have come on fastballs. And I would imagine that's what Dave Duncan is telling Morris right now. If you're going to get beat, or if you're going to get tied with your best pitch.
The Sprint Virtual Manager question, should Tony La Russa pull Matt Morris? Right now he can't. Even if he wanted to, as Dave Beers and Steve Klein just trotted down there and are warming up in a hurry. Klein more than Beers with Bonds in the on-deck circle. Jeff Kent, his last time up, with 2 on and nobody out, bounced into a 5-3 double play.
On the curveball.
Another chance for Jeff Kent, who still looks for his first RBI of this NLCS. A guy who drove in 108 during the regular season. Breaking ball hits Kent to load the bases for Bonds.
The worst curve of the night hits Jeff Kent. What you may see now is a delaying game. Matheny will wait, and then he'll meander out to the mound. La Russa will probably tell Matheny to talk to Morris. But one would assume that Steve Klein, the left-hander, will be in this game. We'll see. No place to put Bonds. There goes Matheny.
So the stall tactic put on by St. Louis. We'll see if it leads to the pitching change and Steve Klein. Kent became the 3rd Giant hitter to be hit by a pitch by Morris tonight. And Bonds is at the plate with the bases loaded. 1 out in the 8th inning as the Giants try to win tonight. To go to the wall.
Now it's a delaying game. Matheny will wait, and then he'll meander out to the mound. La Russa will probably tell Matheny to talk to Morris. But one would assume that Steve Klein, the left-hander, will be in this game. We'll see. No place to put Bonds. There goes Matheny.
So the stall tactic put on by St. Louis. We'll We'll see if it leads to the pitching change and Steve Klein. Kent became the third Giant hitter to be hit by a pitch by Morris tonight. And Bonds is at the plate with the bases loaded. 1 out in the 8th inning as the Giants try to win tonight to go to the World Series. Into left center field, well hit. Back is Morero in front of the wall. Both runners tag at second and third, and it's a tie game. Lofton scores, and it's 1-1.
Bonds only had 2 sacrifice flies all season because teams wouldn't pitch to him in these situations. The Cardinals with no choice. A run scores and Aurelia moves to third easily.
Bottom of the 8th. The go-ahead run is at third base, and who's at the plate? Santiago. First and third, 2 out, and a bunt. Bunted foul.
Bunting for a base hit, obviously. Saw the third baseman back, trying to drop it down the line. Aurelia alerted. Santiago will do that occasionally. Almost walked into that one. Ended up bunting it behind him.
First and third, 2 out. No balls, 1 strike. Santiago hitless tonight. Vina sends this game into the 9th inning tied. Matt Morris and the Cardinals forced to pitch to Barry Bonds with the bases loaded. It didn't leave the park, but it was deep enough. And after that swing, the Giants and Cardinals tied 1-1 as we go to the 9th. Coverage provided by Saturn and the Saturn Light Chip. Saturn and its retailers hope you're enjoying this National League Championship Series. It's a 1-1 game as we move to the 9th. What did you select as baseball's most memorable moment? You can tune into the pregame show prior to Game 4 of the World Series to see the winner of the MasterCard Presents Major League Baseball's most memorable moment, live on Fox, 8 Eastern on Wednesday, October 23rd. Mike Matheny first up. Then the pitcher's spot. Then Vina. Right now Morris is in the on-deck circle, and the Cardinal bullpen is quiet as Matheny takes ball 1 from Tim Worrell.
One of the biggest surprises of this league championship series, the offensive output of Mike Matheny. He has been terrific.
He gets under this one and flies it into center for Kenny Lofton. 1 out. Just about 8 o'clock straight up here in San Francisco. To get you caught up, not much offense to talk about. Opportunities really for both sides, but only 1 run scoring in the 7th inning for St. Louis on a sac fly by Vina, and the 1 run scoring for San Francisco in the bottom of the 8th on a sac fly by Barry Bonds, who was up with the bases loaded. This is Game 5 with the Giants up 3-1. Morris 0 for 2 with a sacrifice, takes a strike. The Giants in the bottom of this 9th inning will have the pitcher's spot, then JT Snow and David Bell. One ball, 1 strike on Morris.
With this move of Matt Morris batting with 1 out, nobody on, for the most part, if Tony La Russa Tony La Russa realizing the Cardinals, if they win this, they're going to win it in the 10th inning. Otherwise, it's going to be a 2-out, nobody-on situation for Vigna.
You could raise the question, does the short bench have something to do with Morris batting? I would say no. I think it has more to do with the way Morris is pitching.
I do too.
Than with a short bench. The 1-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Tim Morrell. Morris has thrown 91 pitches tonight. We're in the 9th inning of Game 5. And Morris is trying to fight his way on base. He had 12 hits during the regular season. Had a hit in the Game 1 start out in Arizona in the division series. Still 2-2.
Last year in the LDS, the Cardinals against the Arizona Diamondbacks, Tony La Russa allowed Matt Morris to hit in the 8th inning as the outs were dwindling in a 9-inning game. That was the game won by Tony Womack of the Diamondbacks to put them in the league championship series against the Braves.
Struck him out looking 2 out. Morris complaining to Tim Welke, the home plate umpire. He thought it was high.
Very few pitchers complain at the plate because they have to go back out there wanting perhaps that same pitch.
So now with 2 out, nobody on, here's Vigna, who has the only RBI of the night for St. Louis.
JT Snow trying to get the attention of Dusty Baker. And Baker said hug the line and play even with the base. That's what Snow's doing.
Cardinals have stranded 9 runners on tonight. The Giants have left 7. Giants have hit into the game's only double play. And starts to loosen. (2-0) with Cairo on deck.
David Bell at third, not guarding the line against the double. Seen Vigna for any length of time. Vigna's probably more inclined to hit the ball that way down the line than he is to pull it down the line. And yet Snow is on the line at first.
Two and one. A bunt. Kent can't make the play. And Vigna's on with a 2-out base hit.
Normally you don't bunt with 2 out, nobody on unless you have an intention of stealing the base. Vigna with 17 on the regular season, but he was caught 11 times. Kent's only try, the only way he can make that play is to do it barehanded fashion. Now we'll see if Vigna's running.
Santiago threw out 28% during the regular season. He has caught 1 of 2 attempted base stealers. Cairo at the plate. Go ahead run at first with 2 out in the 9th inning. Strike 1. Cairo homered in game 1. And he's in the hole here, 0-2. So far, no signs of Vigna running over at first base. With 2 strikes on the hitter Cairo, we'll see if he goes. Not running, ball 1. Out of play. Cairo started this postseason 7 for his first 7. 8 for his last 8 in the postseason dating back to last year. On the bench for the first 2 games here in San Francisco, but starting in game 5, and he's 2 for 4.
Fundamentally one of the sounder Cardinal hitters, going to right with 2 strikes.
Got him on the outside corner. Giants bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. If they can score, they'll head to the Fall Classic. 5. A 1-1 score. Matt Morris trying to send it to the 10th. A pinch hitter will lead it off, Ramon Martinez. Morris through 8 innings has allowed 1 run on only 4 hits, the same hit total for the Giants last night. The 4 hits last night producing 4 runs for San Francisco in a 4-3 win. The Giants are 1 run right now away from the World Series as ball 1 misses to Martinez. Snow and Bell will follow. 1 ball, 1 strike.
In game 2, Ramon Martinez responsible for the squeeze bunt in the 9th inning against the Cardinals. That made the score 4-1, and now Martinez backs out of there. We started this game off, Joe, by you saying the Cardinals are going to try to slow down Kirk Reuter. And the Giants have done the same thing, and now I think a ball has been called on Martinez.
Well, time was not granted, so it was a free pitch, and Morris missed the strike zone. It's 2-1. Off the hands and a pop-up, foul territory. Matheny puts it away, 1 down. So Morris comes back to shatter the bat in the hands of Ramon Martinez, and JT Snow will stand in. 0 for 3 tonight, with some big hits in the postseason for the Giants this year. Also has played a flawless first base. Strike one. If this game goes to the 10th, Edmonds, Pujols, and Drew would bat for St. Louis. The Giants trying to avoid that as Snow goes the other way. Back is Morero, and from the track, 2 out.
I'm not sure that any of the balls hit to center and left fields tonight would be home runs normally, but they would be deeper than they have been. With the cool air here in San Francisco this evening, the ball is not carrying like it has all summer long.
You can think back to a ball hit by Kent in the 4th inning to center. A ball hit by Pujols in the 6th inning to center. The ball that Bonds hit didn't carry all that far, and that one well in front of the track off the bat of Snow. Here's Bell, another hit for David Bell. Into left center field. Edmonds cuts it off, and David Bell has a 2-out single, and he's the potential winning run. One former Cardinal, David Bell, sets up another. Sean Dunston, who will come to the plate after this base hit.
In the earlier innings, a ball hit like this could be an extra base hit because your outfield is more shallow. But with the Cardinals in a no doubles defense, that means they're playing 5 or 6 steps deeper. Edmonds cuts that ball off easily. The same defense now will be employed.
Dave Duncan is out to talk to Matt Morris as Steve Klein again races down to the bullpen to get loose, with Kenny Lofton due up after Sean Dunston. Dunston, his only plate appearance tonight, struck out looking on a curveball that Matt Morris froze him with last inning. This will be Dunston's 3rd at bat. That's it this postseason for Dusty Baker. Dunston still has some home run pop. As he digs his way in with David Bell, potential NLCS winning run on at first and 2 out in the bottom of the 9th, a 1-1 game.
That was almost a balk. Matt Morrison trying to lift his foot off the rubber. Had him momentarily hang up. No balk was called. Watch his right foot. He cleared it all right.
Dunston, ball 1. One of 2 players in the Giants lineup with 2 hits tonight, Kenny Lofton on deck. Into center field. That ball's going to get down for a hit.
He could have caught that ball, but now you got to think that Steve Klein will be brought in the game to face Kenny Lofton, since Lofton, the last time he faced Morris, got a hit.
So Tony La Russa is going to make the pitching change here in the 9th inning. Steve Klein is coming in. Kenny Lofton, a midseason pickup by the Giants, will have a chance with a hit to send San Francisco to the World Series. Matt Morris did all he could. He gets into the 9th inning. It's a 1-1 game as he leaves, and Klein comes in. Matt Morris becomes a spectator as Steve Klein, who was on the mound when the Cardinals' playoff hopes came to an end last year in Arizona with a hit by Tony Womack, will face the left-hander Kenny Lofton with runners on at first and second and 2 out. A tremendous effort tonight by Matt Morris. But right now it's not enough as Kenny Lofton will look for the series clinching hit. Into right field, a base hit. The throw by Drew to the plate. The Giants are going to the World Series. The two teams were a combined 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position tonight before that 2-out hit by Kenny Lofton. "17 years in the big leagues, and Barry Bonds is going to the World Series." Kenny Lofton picked up the 28th of July from the White Sox, delivers the game-winning 2-out hit. Let's go down to the field and Joe McGrain. Joe?
All right, congratulations to Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds, I believe you said before that you give up all those home runs to be a World Series victor. Now you're 4 wins away from doing that. You still hold true to that?
Yeah, you know, we played great. I mean, they played good too. You know, last few games were just fun. You know, it was anybody's ball game. You tip your hat to the Cardinals. They did a great job. They came out and fought us all the way. It's not over. We got a tough series ahead of us. The Angels are playing real hard and tough, so we got a tough series ahead of us. It's not over.
Well, you've erased a lot of things in the past with 4 home runs so far in the postseason. This team not only has a great player in Barry Bonds, but some pretty darn good experienced players as well, don't they?
We've got some gutsy guys out here, just like the Angels do. It's gonna be down to the wire with them. I think they're such a good team, and who would think 2 wild card teams would be in it? That's just amazing within itself. But let's enjoy it right now and have fun.
One more question, Barry. Dusty Baker is beloved by this whole team. I know your focus is down in Anaheim starting the series Saturday. You get along great with Dusty. Do you want him back? His contract is unsettled now.
Oh, definitely. You know, he's the one that keeps all of us together. You know, he treats us with great respect, allows us to just go do our job. It'd be sad if he left because, you know, he's part of this dynasty here for this new stadium as well as myself. And why not keep it together, man? It's just...
Good luck in the series, Barry. You got JT Snow next. Congratulations, JT. Thanks. Isn't it ironic from where you have come this year, at one point in the season had really lost your job and they were trying other people out for the position, and now you're the everyday guy going to the series.
Yeah, you just got to keep playing. It's a crazy game. You can never give up on yourself. You always got to believe, and that's what this team did all year. So we don't have a lot of big egos on this team. We just try and get it done day in and day out. And who's ever in the lineup goes out, plays hard, and it's a great feeling.
Well, history will tell us that you beat the Cardinals 4-1, but it really wasn't a blowout series, was it?
Not at all. They, what a team they had. You know, they had a tough season with everything that happened over there, and they gave us everything. We had to work for everything. They didn't give us anything, and it was two good teams going at it. I think you saw that. A lot of good offense, a lot of good defense, a lot of good pitching, and they should be glad with the year they had, because they went through some tough times, and nobody could imagine what they went through. And you know, that was just good fun baseball, good competition, and it was what it's all about.
Thank you, JT. Best of luck in the series. And now let's go back up to Joe Buck.
All right, Joe, thank you. The Giants win it, a final tonight of 2-1. And our Taco Bell think outside the bunt play of the game is what else? A two-out rally that was capped. Kenny Lofton smiling as the ball was leaving his bat. Into the glove of J.D. Drew. His throw was wide. David Bell, a former Cardinal, hand first across the plate. And time to celebrate in San Francisco as the Giants have won the pennant. We'll return and visit inside the clubhouse when we come back. Congratulations to the San Francisco Giants. A 2-1 win tonight, and on to the World Series they go. Saturday night, the World Series will begin here on Fox. An all-California World Series with the San Francisco Giants and the Anaheim Angels, as Benito Santiago is doused with a champagne outside the clubhouse for all that he provided, not just in this series, not just in the postseason, but from the 37-year-old catcher all season long. Down in the clubhouse of the San Francisco Giants is my partner, Tim McCarver. Tim?
All right, Joe, congratulations being passed around in the clubhouse. Peter McGowan, the president of the Giants. Peter, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Tim. I'm so proud of this team, our manager, the coaches, the players. It took all 25 to get us here. Our owners who bought this team back in '92, kept in San Francisco. I'm proud of them. And above all, I'm proud of our fans, the best fans in America. The last 3 years, we've had just tremendous support here, and we wouldn't be here without them, too.
For the presentation of the Warren C. Giles Trophy, representing the National League champion San Francisco Giants is Bill Giles, the honorary chairman of the National League. Bill?
Peter, I'm very happy to give you the Warren Giles Trophy. Your organization did a magnificent job, not only building this ball club, but building this great ballpark. It's a great honor to call San Francisco Giants the 2002 National League champions.
Thank you very much, Bill. We know we beat a great team, the St. Louis Cardinals. I'd like to say to the Cardinals, they put up a hell of a fight. The Atlanta Braves, same thing.
Thank you, Peter. Brian Sabian put this team together. Brian, congratulations.
I'm speechless, thank you. It's quite an honor. The Cardinal organization and team was a great opponent. It was baseball like I'd never seen. My heart's still throbbing and my head's still pounding, so the good guys won. We got a bunch of good people in this organization. I'm so happy for everybody in it.
You had a terrific effort by a lot of guys, right? a lot of different guys. And the guy that you acquired on July 28th, Kenny Lofton, ends up getting the game-winning hit.
No question. He had a roller coaster series, but in the end, he got the big hit. He's a pro. Some of these guys, or a lot of these guys in this clubhouse, are in the last roundup, so I'm so happy for them. My heart's really breaking right now because you're in a tenuous situation. They win that game, and who knows what the hell happens if you got to go back to St. Louis. And to do it with 2 outs in front of our home crowd will be remembered forever.
Is it too early to ask whether you'll be back next year or not?
Well, I want to come back. San Francisco's been great to me. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Timmy.
Speaking of coming back, we're looking for Dusty Baker. Dusty was up here, and now he's gone. But we do have the most valuable player of the National League Championship Series, Benito Santiago. Congratulations.
Oh, this is a dream come true. You know, I dream to be here. See, I know I've been behind the plate for a long, long time, getting all those foul tips, trying to win. And I know it.
Here you go. Aside from not being able to see, Benito, again, 5 years ago in 1998, you were in an automobile accident. From then to now, tell us about that.
Well, es something, cuidado con los ojos. Es something, my God, I got it. I know I was out of baseball, but that phone call from Dusty make everything possible. And hey, I can be happy in this. I can be happy in this.
Well, congratulations, the 2-run home run last night. Playing as much as you did for the full season and going into this League Championship Series, the opportunity to go to the World Series. Your thoughts about that?
Hey, thank you, team. I know you've been there before, and I know how great this thing is. Hey, I can describe it this. It just, things are happening. I'm a positive man. Hey, my family, all the doctors out there, they take everything from me. All the success, all that rehab, this is all for them. Thank you, team.
Congratulations again to the San Francisco Giants, the National League champions. A lot of burning eyes down here, Joe, and a burning desire to get to the series.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. Back here in the broadcast booth where we sat for the last 3 games and watched this series unfold. It was tremendous the way these two teams battled. Congratulations to the San Francisco Giants. They deserve to be in the World Series in 2002. They will be in Anaheim this weekend, and we look forward to a great World Series. Then you think about the St. Louis side and all that they have been through. You think about what J.T. Snow referred to. They have been through a tremendous ride during the 2002 season. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. They lost their longtime broadcaster, Jack Buck, my father, at the end of June, and then days later lost their leader, 33-year-old pitcher Darryl Kyle. Somehow able to hold together through that adversity and end up in the National League Championship Series. They fought hard. They came up short in this series. They deserve a lot of credit for getting to this point in the season.
I want the Cardinal fans to know when they hear me that I am humble, happy, and very grateful. Thank you.
Okay, adios, Mama. This is fun. I don't think I'll be scared. It depends on. I don't know.
I think you'll be in good shape. You're in good hands.
Oh, I know I'm in good hands.
Although there are many laughs and tons of strife, I've been able to minimize it and state my philosophy of life. You choose a road, the one you'll travel on, and you go, and pretty soon you're gone. Thank you. Jack Buck, year 2000.